Welcome back, everybody. Dudes Who Bet Daily, Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. We've got one of the two teams set for the NBA Finals. Boston staves off elimination last night. Got two series at 3-0 in the NHL. Has not been the most exciting conference finals ever. Let's start with the NBA real quick before we jump into today's games. We've got the Nuggets who finished it off. We've got the Celtics now down 3-1 to the Heat. Papa, I'll start with you. Do the Celtics have a chance to come back right now in this series?
If I was the Heat, I would have wanted to end that tonight or last night. Now you got to go back to Boston. They played terrible in Boston. The Celtics have – that used to be a very difficult place to win, but it hasn't been throughout the playoffs. For the Celtics, no, I don't think they're going to – I just don't think they're good enough to win 4 in a row. I just don't. So I'll still stick with the Heat, but I was very disappointed in them last night. I thought they would end it, and they didn't. So Boston's got a little bit of life, that's for sure.
I had some fun with that Boston game. I took the Celtics minus 4.5 on the alt line because I felt like it was not going to be a close game either way. So you might as well take a plus money bet on it, got plus 170 on it. There has never been someone coming back in the NBA from down 0-3, Aaron. But if there ever was a scenario, isn't this kind of it? You've got the better team who now has 2 home games out of the 3 left in the series. They get to play game 5 at home. Now, Papa Dude mentioned they lost 9 games the regular season at home. They have lost 5 already in the playoffs at home. So not been wonderful so far in the playoffs, but they have 5 and 7 at home. Do you think there's any shot for them to come back?
I think there's a shot. I think there's a shot because of what you just kind of laid out there. You know, I think having those 2 out of 3 at home, I don't, forget about it. It's still, that's an advantage. It's not a disadvantage, right? I don't think they're going to go to Miami and win game 6. I think that's when it's going to get kind of, knocked away from them. But I do think they can force a game 6. And, I don't think it's impossible, but still, let's not forget the first 3 games just because of one game we saw in game, last night in game 4. They haven't been that great in this series. And I'm with Papa Dude. I don't think they're going to win 4 in a row, but I do think they'll make this interesting and make the Nuggets wait, 3-4 nights before they find out who they're going to play.
Right now, the Nuggets minus 250 to win the NBA title. The Heat plus 300, the Celtics plus 500. Is there any value in taking the Nuggets right now, minus the 250, without knowing their opponent, considering if Boston goes 7, this thing gets stretched out, you get a rested Nuggets team, or is 250 too much juice to lay, Papa Dude?
I think it's too much. Not that high on them. Just because they beat the Lakers doesn't mean much to me. So, no, I don't. No, I'm not sure they're going to win. I'm going to make another argument. I'm going to argue with you guys. I don't think the Celtics are better than the Heat. I think the Heat are better than the Celtics. They may not have been in the regular season. We ain't in the regular season. We're in the playoffs. They've kicked their ass 3 times. And no, I don't think they're better. But anyway, I would take the Heat over the Nuggets. That's what I would do. Because here's the thing about the Heat. They're going to get their point guard back, probably. Probably. I don't know if that's going to mess up the chemistry that they have right now. And they're tough. They're physical. To me, that's where it's lacking for Denver. They're not as physical. And that's where I think the Heat are beating the Celtics. They're more physical than the Celtics. So I would lean towards the Heat with the money situation, with the odds the way they are.
If you want the Heat or the Celtics, now's the time to bet either of them, right? Because if you think the Celtics are coming back, plus 500 is the best you're going to get.
You better believe it.
If you think the Heat are going to close this thing out and you see Denver minus 250, well, that means the other side would be like plus 200.
Yeah.
Right. So you're getting significant value if you pick the right team out of the Eastern Conference and you think they can win the championship. So interesting setup there. Kind of the worst case scenario for the NBA here. The finals don't start for another 7 days, no matter how fast the series ends. So they've got to wait until June to kick the finals off. So the rest aspect of it probably going to be a problem for both of them, right? Because both teams are probably going to come in with rest if the Heat finish this thing off anytime soon. But awfully interesting here. And just to pop it, I kind of agree with you. I think the Heat are the better team. I think the Celtics, if you just on paper said who's more talented, you take the Celtics roster over the Heat roster. But when you factor in chemistry, the Jimmy Butler aspect, and Spector, the coach, that's when you start moving toward that Heat side.
Exactly. And the other thing, too, let's say this goes another 2 or 3 games. Think how long the Nuggets are sitting around doing nothing. And you lose your edge sometimes. when you sit around that long. That's going to be a really long time for them.
Yeah, if this had been sweep, we would not have had a playoff basketball game for over a week.
Yeah.
Just worst case scenario for the NBA. You're waiting for your NBA finals to start, and you're just sitting there for a full week. It's why you gotta love how hockey does it. They roll it right back no matter what, as soon as the series are over. And speaking of hockey, Aaron, the Panthers, your Panthers, I'll say, trying to close out the Hurricanes tonight. The first time we've seen the Hurricanes as the dog in this series. They're now minus 105. Total sitting at 5.5 still. They have not come close to going over 5.5 in 3 games. Not even close. I mean, we're talking like, what has it been? 2-1, 1-0. There was a 3-2 game, which really was 2-1, and we ended up with 3-2. What are you doing here? Are you going back to the under? Are you playing the Hurricanes? How do you handle this one, Aaron?
This has been the damnedest series I've ever watched in my life. The Hurricanes really have dominated 3/4 of the series, guys. Would you say? I mean, is that too much? I don't think so. I mean, they absolutely dominated game 3, could not score, hit 3 posts, lost 1-0. I know you were on the side of the Hurricanes, Somich, and
it's frustrating.
I don't even know what to tell you other than I'm sorry, because my goodness, they dominated that game and should have won. Now you get the Panthers as a favorite, finally, like you said. I hate that, but I just don't think they're gonna solve Bobrovsky. I think he's just in one of those zones that goalies get in sometime, and you just can't beat him. I don't know what the Hurricanes have left. They could easily be up 3-0 in this series. I mean, we're talking about a bounce here or there is the only difference in this thing. It's 3-0, but it really shouldn't be. That being said, I think Florida will close them out tonight, guys. I don't know what seriously. I don't know what Carolina can do. The third period of that game in game 3, I've never seen a team dominate like that and not get one on the board. So I actually think Carolina might come out a little flat tonight. Give me Florida.
We've talked about Money Puck before on here, Aaron, and this is probably the funkiest series I've ever seen in my life. They do a simulation of 10,000 times with the exact shots from the exact points, with the penalties, everything, and say who deserves to win. The Panthers have lost all of those simulations, 70% to the Canes, 30% to the Panthers in all 3 games, yet they're up 3-0. I want to give you props because you said something after game 1. If the Hurricanes control the puck like they did in game 1, this series was just going to go under and under and under because their shot quality, well, they have the puck all the time, is so low. They're coming from the boards. They're coming from the point. They're trying to get deflections, which, you got to do against a hot goalie. But that's not a high-quality scoring chance at the same time. So you have the puck possession, but you don't have the scoring chances. I mean, I don't know how you don't play the under again. I'm going to go with my best bet here. I'm going to take under first period. This series is 3-0 under first period. It is 4-0 unders. By the way, unders so far this round are now 6-1. I think that trend continues as well. So I'm going to play the first period under. I'm going to play the game under, but my best bet's going to be the first period under here, Papa Dude.
Oh, I don't know how you can't. You know, I was expecting to get up this morning and see 5.
I did too.
Instead of 5.5. I was shocked when it was still the same. Because, like you said, it hasn't even been close to getting over in this series. And I don't know why it's under again. So, I think that's a great bet. And I think it's going to happen. And I'm with Aaron, too. The thing is, I wanted to take the Panthers, and I went ahead and picked them. But you just keep thinking those breaks are not going to keep happening. But they do. And I feel sorry for the Canes. They just can't get the puck in the net, and the goalie has. If there's ever been a series where it's been bounce, everything, all the bounces go the Panthers' way, and the goalies just stone the other team, this is it.
I don't hate the idea of trying to play like Panthers in 6 as a series price. I think that Carolina shows up tonight because they've been so close. Brendan Moore is a phenomenal coach from a motivation perspective.
Yeah,
I don't think that they roll over here. And if you go to the series side and you're like, okay, well, how can you try and find some type of value? Panthers 4-2 is 5.5 to 1, which means that Carolina wins tonight and wins at home. And you're getting 5.5 to 1 then on that Carolina game where you can cover yourself pretty easily if it gets to game 6 by simply betting the Hurricane. So I don't hate the idea of trying to play an extended series here because I do think Carolina shows up tonight. It's just whether or not they can solve Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
I don't.
And Dennis says, should the Canes change their style? You can't.
No.
They've
dominated the games.
They're dominating every game. Changing the style would be the absolute dumbest thing in the world they could do. I mean, if they try to play a wide open up and down hockey game of Florida, they're going to get run out of that building tonight.
Yeah.
They've got to do exactly what they've done, and they've got to hope they get some luck and get a goal or two. It's only going to take a couple. So
yeah, it's one of the situations where you sit and you watch the film after the game, the video, whatever, and you're thinking, how did we lose this game?
Yeah.
Guys, this was where you were supposed to be. You did everything what you're supposed to do. So what do you say? You know,
I don't know.
And Mark brings up a point here, maybe the elimination game factor for why it's still at 5.5. Because it's an elimination game, I took first period under instead of game under. That was the difference to me. Because if it's 3-1 in the third, Carolina's pulling their goalie with 5-6 minutes left.
Exactly.
And then you just don't know. And if it's 4-1, they're probably still pulling their goalie. And so it's a situation where I don't want to get beat by multiple empty net goals on the full under. So that's why I was looking at first period under versus game under.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do too.
All right, let's jump into some baseball, guys, because you know what? There's nothing else going on. So we'll start out here with the Mets and the Cubs. Cubs laying -115, total sitting at 6.5. And you might be asking yourself, why is the Cubs Mets total at 6.5? Because that's what I asked myself. It's 55 degrees and the wind's blowing in Chicago. So that is why the total is sitting at 6.5. Not necessarily the pitching matchup. You got Segura versus Stroman in this one. I did play Cubs first 5. Segura's been atrocious on the road. Stroman been good at home. I don't want to get into the bullpens. I think this could be a low-scoring game, but I think the Cubs first 5 is the look here. So I took them -110 in the first 5 as we pick them. Aaron, what do you think here?
Yeah, you've picked a game here that's just a total coin flip without any doubt. I mean, these two teams pretty much the same, especially when the game's in Chicago. You talk about the pitchers. I think it's pretty much the same as well. I'll lean with the Cubs here at home. Usually when the weather's cold, Cubs play pretty well at home. I kind of like Stroman at home as well. I think he'll pitch pretty decent. His win-loss record should be a little bit better. He's had a lot of quality starts so far this season. So I'll take the Cubs tonight in Wrigley. See what happens. I hate the price of -115. I will say that, but the Mets, you're not getting much better either. So give me the Cubs.
Yeah, Stroman has blown up twice this year. One when the wind was blowing out against the Dodgers at home, and the other against the Twins. If you take out those 2 games, he's not given up 2 runs in a single start and has 4 starts without giving up a single run. So I feel like the wind blowing in, you're going to see a good Stroman tonight, Papa Dude.
I agree. I'll just stay with you guys, and I don't have much to add. I'll take the Cubs as well.
This game is a toss-up, yet there's a -160 portion of the news here. We've got the Cardinals, -160, headed in to take on the Reds, throwing 0-5 Matt. So the 5 ERA out to the mound, lively pitching for Cincinnati, 2.45 ERA. Total sitting at a robust 11 in the Great American Over ballpark. Aaron, you talked about this. We talked about this yesterday on the phone, actually. When you find these coin flip games, just take the plus money. I sprinkled a little on the Reds here. I thought +140 was too high.
Yeah, the Cardinals have had a trend the last, I'd say 10, 12, 15 games. I don't know how far back it's been, but they're not very good as a favorite here lately. When they have been favored, they have not done very well at all. But when they're underdogs, holy shit, they've been winning games. They went into Boston and won a bunch as an underdog. They beat the Cardinals as underdogs as well. Or excuse me, they beat the Dodgers as underdogs as well. Look, you're right. It is a toss-up game. I stayed away from it because the Reds are pretty bad, but it is a game where Matz is just awful for the Cardinals, and that's been the Cardinals' problem. Their pitching has been so up and down. I think it's a wild one. If you want to take a shot with the Reds, go ahead. I went ahead and I'm leaning Cardinals here, but I would stay away from this game.
I wanted to play the over, but 11 was just a little bit too high for me, Papa Dude. Did you do anything here?
That's a lot of runs. 11's too high. I kind of like the Reds tonight because of the pitching. And the Cardinals, I think, have come down a little bit after that Dodgers series and are struggling just a little. But I said about 2 weeks ago, Cardinal fans, quit worrying about it. You're in the worst division in baseball, and the leaders have come back to the Cardinals while the Cardinals have been playing very well. The Cardinals are playing outstanding baseball. As Mark says, they're pitching shaky, but they're knocking the snot out of the ball right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Sometimes that doesn't continue. You're not going to keep hitting like that. That kind of comes and goes. So they're still a little shaky on the pitching, but they're 22-28, and they're only 5 games out of first place. And they went through a really bad stretch where they lost every day, but so did the leaders. So they didn't lose any ground. They stayed at 10. I chart this crap every day for these picks, and I still can't get them right. But anyway, they fell 10 back, but they stayed 10 back while they were losing every day.
Yeah.
And I knew then, you know what, they should be 15 or so back, and they're not. And here they've come back to 5. I would see them once they get to 500, which they're going to do, they're going to get to roll them. But I kind of like the Reds tonight because of the Cardinals starting pitcher.
Yeah, interesting Cardinals fact here. So they lost 10 of 11 games, then switched their catcher. So Wilson Contreras was behind the plate. They took him out because the pitching staff was complaining how he was calling games. Since then, they have been red hot. That was the moment where it kind of flipped the switch there. The pitching got better. The hitting continued. They put Contreras in at DH. With the new rules in baseball, it's interesting to see that a catcher could make that big of a difference because you don't have much time to shake signs off. So whatever he's calling, they're throwing.
Yep.
And now you have that different catcher that the pitching staff likes more. That's been the turnaround for the Cardinals. It'll be interesting to see if that continues. We'll bring Magic in here real quick. Magic, good morning.
Hi.
Magic, the show starts at 11 o'clock.
Oh, that's like 2 hours from now.
Oh, wait a minute.
If you're ever wondering who's late for the Magic Mike
Is
show.
that Magic or is that Jared?
Magic, any thoughts here on Cardinals Reds?
Well, we'll see how quickly I get through this, and then you can decide if it's Magic or Jared. No thoughts on it.
There you go. All right, perfect. All right, let's go over to.
I'm just giving you crap, Magic. You know that.
This game was almost the best bet for 2 of the 4 people on this show. The Braves and the Dodgers. The Braves minus 120, total sitting at 9. Papa, I'll start with you because you almost played the under here as your best bet. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. And the reason I didn't was the minus 120, so I switched to something else for the show. I saw this first thing this morning, and I had it at 9.5. It was 9.5 early this morning. And the pitching matchup is fantastic. Both of these guys have pitched extremely well. Their ERAs are really low. I thought it was a no-brainer at 9.5. And I thought that would be my best bet. But when I saw the 120, I thought, I'll probably throw that in on our best bet part of the website that we have now as a kind of a filler type deal, another bet. But for this show, I went with something else. I think it goes under tonight. I really do.
I think that's a good look, Papa Dude. I actually bet this game already, and it was almost my best bet. I played under 5 first 5 innings. I was shocked it was 5 and not 4.5. And that's minus 110 under 5. And it's just essentially saying, hey, look, Elder pitching for the Braves, very good. Gonsolin pitching for the Dodgers. He has been phenomenal since actually getting back into form. He's coming off an injury. I thought this should be 4.5, maybe even 4 for the first 5, and we got a 5. So I played under 5 first 5. Aaron, any thoughts here? Braves Dodgers.
I do like the under 5 aspect of it because, these pitchers now, they'll go like 6 innings and that's it a lot of times, and you're like, shit. Well, yeah, we're at like 3 runs and now here comes the bullpen and what's going to happen here. So the under 5 is a good look. I think the under in general is a good look for this game. I text you, Papa Dude. I said, it's not for me because it seems too obvious, right? Like you got a pitcher with a 1 ERA, you got a pitcher with a 2 ERA. The under or the over under is 9.5. I was like, yeah, it's going to be 10-9 today. Probably. It just looks way too obvious. But no, listen, from a logical standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. I also like the Braves tonight as well. So, yeah, under and the Braves seem to make sense to me.
Magic.
Yeah, I almost so when I texted my best bet, I almost did this game and almost did the under, which is why I had accidentally said Atlanta instead of Milwaukee. But yeah, no, I like the under in this one as well. The trends are saying you play the under, especially when Elders is on the mound for the Braves. Last 4 games, the under's 4-0. So I think the under is definitely the play here.
And Magic, how excited are you? CFL preseason this Friday. Are you going to have some CFL preseason bets?
Not for the preseason, no. I don't touch preseason in anything because everybody's still trying to figure out which hand to put their dick in. So no, I'm passing on that one for right now. It does start officially June 8th. June 8th, 2023. CFL season starts. I'm ready for it.
Magic's going to have to get his cell phone out of the freezer so he can start getting all that CFL information back on the line there so he can be betting now. And he crushed CFL last time. Don't know if he was up 670 units, but he did crush the CFL last year. All right.
I tracked it.
Let's go to Horseshoe. Race number 7 here for the race of the day. Going a mile and a 16th over the turf course. We covered this sequence for the Magic Mike show. I'm going to update my pick 5 because we did lose a couple of our favorites, including Pickle Feet. Unbelievable.
Boo.
And Bruster Justice out as well. So we'll have to update those. I'll set that out on Twitter as well. But for race of the 7, we did not lose anybody here. Race number 7, race of the day. $36,000 N1X allowance. Pretty salty and includes your favorite, the 3-horse Hard Rye Guy. 3-1 on the morning line. 0 for 11 on turf. Aaron, you taking the favorite?
No. Hi, Magic. I'm glad you showed up. All right, I'm going to take the 2 in this spot at 5-1. I mean, that was a nice rant, Magic. So I'll take in this race here. I'm going to take the 2 here at 5-1 on the morning line. Got on the turf finally last time out at Tampa Bay and looked pretty good. Won an allowance race, going a mile and 1/8 by a head. I see a lot of pace signed on here, but I think this horse can kind of sit and stock off of maybe the 4, maybe the 7, maybe the 10 Rally Squirrel, get up there. I think the 2 kind of sits the pocket trip here and gets first run on him. So I like the 2 in the spot quite a bit. This is a really good race. This is one it's going to be tough to get through, I think. But give me the 2. And also, I thought at 12-1, the 4 made a little bit of sense as well. So I went 2-4.
Yeah, the 4 was one that I went back and forth on the show. I think I ended up leaving it off. It was the last one off my ticket. So a little scared of the 4. I like Suerte, the 2. I think that has a big shot in this spot. But I'm going to go to a little lesser-known trainer. Give me the 8-horse Jackson's Gold, 6-1 on the morning line. Aaron Thompson owns and trains this one. Perez picks the mount back up. Ridden this horse twice, including a win over this turf course in a state-bred $40,000 NX3 allowance. So non-winners of 3, not non-winners of 1. Came out last time, first off a long layoff. I thought ran well and just got tired down the stretch after going 5 wide. Now we're second off the layoff. I think we're going to be a little better for him. And I love the fact that Perez, a jockey who is very good there, picks up a mount for a barn that only runs about 5 times a year. So it's one of those situations where if you're back on the horse, he believes in the horse. Won an NX3 allowance last year. Now we're an N1X. Yes, it's open company versus state bred, but still has beaten winners quite handily before. Now you're facing horses that have struggled with that. So I'll take the 8-horse Jackson's Gold 6-1 on the morning line, but I do like Suerte the 2 as well. Magic, where are you headed here?
I did like the 3, but you did bring up the fact before on Magic Mike Show then today that the horse is 0 for lifetime on the turf, and that's a long lifetime of being 0 for on the turf. If you want a price, I like the 6 Rockin' Justice in here at 10-1. Horse for course, 5 starts here locally, 3 wins, got a second in the state bred stakes, and then was 4-5 favorite and got 4th. But that race, if you watch the replay, was 3-4 wide. First time past the wire, around the first turn, down the backstretch, around the second turn, and back again. It's like what this Indiana bred, this horse isn't justified. Like, give him a break. Like, he's not going to be able to overcome that. I think it's a good spot for him. And if you're looking for a price, I think that the horses you guys brought up are good. But I also 10-1. I love Rockin' Justice here.
Yeah, I don't mind Rockin' Justice either. It was favored over Jackson Gold 2 back in that NX3 allowance. So it was clearly highly thought of compared to the horse I'm taking it 6-1 as well. Papa Dude, finish us off here. Where are you going?
All right. Well, I think you got to try to beat the favorite in this one because I don't think the favorite's very good. So you look for somebody, and you guys have already knocked them all off. For me, I think it comes between you're going to go with Speed with the 2, who is Speed. Can he get out and hold it? Are you going to get a hard closer like the 6? Rockin' Justice, is he going to come and get him? The only thing worries me a little bit about him, he is an Indiana bred, but these horses aren't very good, so I think he could get him. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Speed with the 2, but I think the 6 might come and get him.
Before we move on, I do want to congratulate Dustin on his child. He's now making dad jokes in here, so I assume that he has a child. He's going nuts and taking Rally Squirrel. So now that we've made a dad joke, Dustin, watch out. You've got some kids out there.
What's his name, Mike?
Who's Dustin?
What's his name?
Oh,
who the fuck is Dustin?
That is trust me. My bad. I killed it. I had it all set up and I just butchered it. Oh, well, let's go on to the best bets here. I'm going to take the under in the first period. Canes and Panthers under first period, 1.5. 3-0 in the series so far. We talked about this one enough. I think the Canes win tonight. I don't hate Canes or Panthers in 6 plus 550, but we're sticking to the under here. We'll go to Magic. Magic, what you got for your best bet?
I ended up going with Astros Brewers under 9.5 here. Last week, or rather on Friday, I had a parlay with golf, and one of the things I did was play Houston against the Oakland A's as part of parlay. And the pitcher on the mound that day, Brandon Bielak, ended up having a career best effort. Now, granted, he was playing the Oakland A's. He is kind of exceeding expectations as far as the analytics go. They think he should be worse, but I also love that Adrian Hauser is going to be on the mound for the Brewers. He had a up and down season last year, but he threw 6 innings of shutout baseball last Friday against the Rays. This is also 2 teams whose offenses are just really not clicking right now. They're struggling to get going. There's a 12-0 game last time. Before that, the under was 6-0 in the last 6 games for the Brewers. For the Astros, it was 7-1 for the under going into that, and now there's still no Jose Altuve. So I'm going to play with this on the under here. I feel pretty confident that both the offenses are going to throw up some pretty bad efforts here.
Yeah, two offenses can definitely clunk it up. Hopefully we can stay under 9.5 there. Astros, Brewers. What are you doing, Magic? Just checking. Aaron, what do you got?
Making a margarita. You're talking about Dustin. This is something. All right. Well, look, it's never a good show on Wednesdays, right, guys? So we're just getting going for the Magic. All right. I'm going to go Rockies plus 150 today against the Marlins. Rockies have been pretty good at home this year compared to their away record's been really bad, but 12-12 at home. 2-0 in this series against the Marlins. They played pretty well both games. Today, I think you're getting that plus 150 because you got Carl Kaufman on the mound, who only has one start, and it wasn't good, but it did come on the road against the Texas Rangers. The Rangers are a very good team, and they've got a tough lineup. That's a tough place to make your first start. Now we're at home. We're in the friendly confines. Miami struggling this year, especially on the road. And this pitcher, guys, what has happened to old Sandy? What's his name? He just can't get anybody out this year. And so I'm going to try to fade him in a ballpark where if you're in a slump, that's not a good place to start. So I think the plus 150 is good enough. So give me the Rockies today.
Yeah, Sandy had a 2.28 ERA with a 0.98 WHIP last year. It's 5.05 this year. We're the only pitcher that really gets bet on the Marlins, and now he is 1-5 so far to kick off the season. All right, Papa Dude, best bet. What do you got?
I've been sitting here laughing at some of the stuff in the chat. It's been absolutely hilarious. We got some real witty guys. Dennis, I really liked our Dustin, I should say. I really liked yours when you said, "Thanks, Mick." I've known you for 3 or 4 years. That's pretty good stuff. Also, I want to mention Sylvain. He goes, he thinks the Blue Jays will score less runs tonight than they did last night. I think they scored 20 last night.
20. Yeah, they won 20-1.
I like that one a lot. I'm going to go with a parlay tonight. I think will come in. The Twins have Ryan pitching against the Giants. Giants have been playing well, so I'm a little worried about that one. Everybody's going with Tampa tonight against the Blue Jays. I think they think the Blue Jays scored all their runs last night. So we're getting plus 148. I was going to do the under on the whatever game that was, the Dodgers and the Braves, but this one I think is more valuable, and we need to get going on the website. So I'm going to go Twins Rays parlay plus 148.
There we go. Best bets for a Wednesday full of action. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. I'm going to post up my Pick 5 updated on Twitter, so make sure you check that out. We do have 2 scratches that Magic and I both lost, I think, throughout that season.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
Kind of a bummer, but we'll definitely update that there, so you can check it out over on Twitter. Thank you very much for joining the show. Let's rip through the best bets. I'm going to take the Canes-Panthers under 1.5 first period. Papa Dude taking the Twins and Rays plus 148. Aaron taking the Rockies plus 150. Magic, Astros, Brewers under 9.5. Don't call it a comeback. Just down 330 for the year. We're going to make it happen here. Thank you very much for joining us. Good luck with all of your bets today. We'll see you back same time, same place tomorrow.